Alfred Chadwick? Ugh, never. Not with that name. Al, if anything. Who's asking? Raoul whips out his badge, making the fake smile on the man's face freeze. Police. He's like, I'm not proud of that. Oh, damn. That's a shame. You should be. Why? He's just using me. No, he's protecting you. He cares for you, dude. He cares for everybody on his team. Clearly, he's a great boss. A great dad, too. Clearly. Raoul was partnered with Dante as soon as he joined the force. But they know little about each other. It's hard to ask about someone else when you yourself are unwilling to talk. Not that Dante isn't curious. If I've got the chance right now anyway. Where do you work before joining our division? Another question? I'll owe you one. Other police stations for humans. And you switched over to supernatural cases on purpose? You don't stop, don't you? It bothers me. It makes no sense. I want an answer or it'll annoy me the whole night. It isn't as interesting as you think. I like working on working with supernaturals. Not if you care about who I am, which is a blessing. Let me get this straight. People were sucking up to you before because you're rich with an influential family. Dude has no idea how dangerous that is. In a way you do. You are literally having to hide the fact that you're a hellhound, Dante. If you did that, many people will be sucking up to your neck being severed from your body, okay? They would probably be wanting to do that. They would want to do that, which is exactly what he's going through, but he wouldn't get entirely killed yet, unless it's for ransom or something, but they would try to keep him alive as a cash cow. You're a cash cow that they don't mind killing. They don't mind killing or keeping alive in the worst conditions. Much like he is. Y'all are one and the same, dude. And you didn't like that? No, it's bad. You don't need to understand. But try to believe me when I say it's really damn annoying when people think you're good work. When you think you're doing good work because of your name and not because you've been working your ass off for it. True. Raoul inhales and straightens his collar. It sounds like there are so many stories you could tell about his previous job. What he's experiencing, it could even be like, as a woman, you could understand that as in you're doing a lot of good work and people think you're sucking up because of your good looks. And you're trying to get a promotion, not because you're working your ass off, but because you're trying to get with somebody higher up or something. Romantically or even just sexually. So it's really there's people just overlooking your actual good and hard work for the superficial. It's really sad. I prefer to be judged for my own abilities, not those of my parents and siblings. Huh, and he doesn't have siblings. Alright, that's something I can get. You can? Cool. I thought he would feel bad about it, but he gets it. Nice. It sounds nice to have people do your bidding without needing to work for it. But if you do work, you should get the recognition and no one else. Dante shrugs, sliding his hands inside his pockets. Still, think you're stupid for putting yourself in danger, though. I guess I can be rather stubborn. But I've survived so far. Yes, because I make sure no one mauls you to death. As we've established before, that's why you're my partner. You're doing a good job. Continue to make sure I don't die. That's cute. I'm not your babysitter. Bodyguard might be the more appropriate word. There they are. They're back. Raoul's mouth twitched a little into a smile that he's quick to hide. Yo, I'm farting all over the place. It's so awesome. Oh. Although I doubt anyone would convince you to wear a suit. Or anything formal at all. Raoul's eyes move over Dante, which is a bit of a shame. I'll have to reject your job offer. I'm stuck at the station for another while. Certainly stuck for tonight, at least. The first place of interest is over there. Let's get this over with. Party! What the club? Oh, he probably hates this. His ears. His poor wolf ears. Okay, I'm gonna make. Wow. Their first stop was indeed just the start of a long, long night. Many follow before the end is in sight. Hold on. Options. I don't want to risk this. The first stop was indeed just the start of a long, long night. Many follow before the end is in sight. All right. I'm going to choke the next person here who wants to waste our time. As expected, or maybe feared, they're bumping butts over there. I just noticed. No one knows anything. Not only does it take forever to make them talk, they also end up revealing that they haven't noticed anything and other than a couple more bodies than usual. The relationship between the different groups of supernaturals are complicated, meaning that a corpse won't immediately cause others to react. Oh, that's a shame. With how close the place is to the slums, no one has the energy to care for strangers. That literally is kind of like a race thing with humans. The stuff we hear about sometimes. It's pretty nasty. I knew this case would be a hassle. This is the last place. Get it together. Raoul steps up to Dante's side. Over the years, he's learned to recognize most of Dante's body language, including the signs of his rising annoyance. Another thing that Dante would never say out loud is that Raoul helps. The way he riles Dante up is completely different. Somehow, it doesn't make him want to tear out anyone's throat. But as much as a presence is a comforting one, it can't undo the strain on Dante's nerves. It's tempting to mix in with the crowd. There's alcohol here and loud music. People who want your company for a night. People who couldn't care less who you are. Even those with good senses would have trouble locating anyone in here, let alone Raoul. If Dante walks off, he'd be rid of him, and this case within a minute. A break, just for tonight. Don't do it, Dante. And tomorrow is another day. Maybe another break. Dante. Raoul grabs Dante's wrist. It's a light hold. Alright, Dante, don't think about quitting. How are you always so quick to realize when I feel like leaving? I could just shake him off. Don't do that. Don't be an ass. Hey. I don't know. I kind of want to give y'all the experience of like just the sounds. It sounds pretty. The songs sound really pretty. Stay. Well, let's just stay. I think I would fuck him up. I don't want him to suffer. I don't want me to suffer by him suffering. But could, but won't. He'd be easy prey for anyone in here. Raoul stands out. He's human. He's wearing clothes that don't belong here, and he's handsome. Without anyone at his side, he might get swept away if the wrong person, and he might just get swept away if the wrong person, and there are too many of those, got their hands on him. He'd never be seen again. Yeah. Dante would be a pretty shitty guard if he let that happen. Not to mention an even shittier policeman, an even shittier of a friend. And just a shittier of a being. Though he cares less about that. I'm not going to put him into danger. Dante leans back a bit and Raul's grip immediately listens. Yeah, I know what we're here for. Raul sighs quietly, as exhausted as Dante feels. This balancing is fun. We'll be out of here sooner if you insist vanishing into the crowd for 2 minutes. You think I'd have left for only 2 minutes? Do you think you could have left for longer? Knowing that I'd be wandering around the club alone? No. He's like, no? Fingers pointing towards each other like, oh. Because Dante is still somewhat convinced that Raul is severely underestimating the danger of the supernaturals most of the time. Just like Alice, that's what having supernaturals like Orion around you does. It warps your perception. Whatever, where to? Raul's professionalism turns instantly, glances around. He glances around. My bad. I'd say the owner, considering he's conveniently wandering around there. Catching the owner instead of some random staff member is half a miracle. The first one of its kind for the night. Although, Raul nods towards another corner in the room. That guy might know something too. The little group in the corner isn't hiding. There's small plastic bags being passed around. Ooh, a dealer, huh? We don't have any evidence that the victim was on something, but the chances aren't low. A dealer's the best bet for tracking any paying customers. Then again, the owner of this place would have a wider network. Fuck, you're gonna make me choose? I kinda would wanna go for the dealer. But if the person knows and then they covered it up, they probably would also allow for the people to buy stuff in their club while they're there. The owner would be like a really good person and source to go to. The dealer would be someone who's just there, but then if it leads to something bigger, I say let's try the dealer. Let me see. I have a hunch. It could be the owner. Let's go to the owner. Maybe if it's the dealer, I don't know. Let's try the owner before he runs away. Dante walks off in the direction of the club owner, Raul on his heel. The crowd parts fluidly, closing up again behind them. Dante can't remember the man's name, don't even recognize him, to be honest, but he doesn't need to. Once they're close enough, Raul switches positions with him, now standing in front. Alfred Chadwick? Ugh, never. Not with that name. Al, if anything. Who's asking? Raul whips out his badge, making the fake smile on the man's face freeze. Police. Said police! Pop! Open the door! I freaking love that one. It's like, police! There's the popo ho. Damn, I don't need your kind around here. Leave, I'll call security. Al growls, showing off sharp teeth. There's no doubt he's a werewolf, even without the gesture. The night has been long already. Seeing the proactive gesture towards his partner, Dante feels his patience thin out even further. With one large step, he's right in front of the guy, face close enough to feel his breath. He then growls. It's much darker. The sound has Al's eyes widening, whole body tensing up. Listen, you mangy mutt. If you call security, I'll assure you that blood will flow. If you want this to end without anyone in the hospital, you'll listen to our damn questions. The more cooperative you are, the faster we're done here. Understood? Werewolves are good at gouging, at gauging. Gouging? Yeah, it's gouging. Werewolves are good at gauging their... gauging, I think. It looks like gouging, man. They look at gouging their opponents. I'm just gonna go with that. Werewolves are good at gouging their opponents. Or gauging their opponents. Let's just go with that. The man stops showing off his fangs in seconds. They can gauge, yeah, gauging. Understood. Dante steps back, standing closer to Raoul now to show that he won't allow any further threats. Al clears his throat, fixing his collar that had been touched, and tries to regain his composure. No need to be so aggressive. Can we start? Dante rather than Al when he asks his question, though it's the werewolf who answers. Not here. Follow me. Thank you for removing us from that noise. Al leads them to a small room in the back. It's quieter than the main area, and no one's around to interrupt them or overhear them. Al leaves Dante to close the door. He crosses his arms and leans against the wall, wary and defensive. What do you want? It's pretty simple. We heard about an odd fight right in front of your place. Someone died after a burst of aggression. What do you know about that? The police are looking into that. Well, it's not to my advantage if you do. There's something really freaky going on there. I didn't see it at first, but I got the wildest descriptions of what he really looked like when he died. Dante can only assume this is what Orion mentioned. I wonder what actually happened. But it's not just that one guy. I've heard this sort of thing happen more than once. Where else did it happen? See, I'm like, they probably would know and it wouldn't benefit them, and if they're connected with somebody, they would be avoidant. I didn't even say that, but they're not avoidant and they're talking about it. Hopefully they're not throwing us a bone and trying to act as if they're innocent, but let's see. The dead aren't the usual addicts either. But even some people who typically avoid drugs, paying customers, and see, it's ruining his business. So he will care about it in a way. If word gets out, I'll really start losing business. Raoul tenses up at the mention of more victims. Not a standalone case of sudden death. Maybe it was the dealership. Okay, maybe it was. Not a standalone case of sudden death, it seems. When did this start? How would I know? Not like I go around counting days. That would be weird if you kind of counted them. Or like kind of very attentive, but if they're on point, that would be fucking weird. But are we talking weeks or months? If I had to guess, weeks, definitely. Can't give you an exact time frame, but it's not been that long. How many deaths have you noticed? What kind of question is that? There's always been people acting up and dying one way or the other. Slums are close and all that. The exaggerated stories are nothing new either. I just thought it was worse than usual till I started losing customers. And you didn't report any of this to previous... and you didn't report any of the previous deaths? AI... Oh, sorry. I almost called him AI. AI shrugs. I'm sorry. Al shrugs, looking uninterested. I forgot. Started out more in the back alleys, nothing too visible on the surface. Raoul rubs a hand over his face. You all are really pieces of shit. I will help you out. Finish that sentence, Raoul. Yeah, they are scum. What else do you know about the ones who've died? Well, you already said that they act aggressive. Though it's playing it down. I've seen a little succubus rush... Oh, my phone went off. Rush into a whole group of supernaturals without a second thought. Drew a lot of onlookers. Though I didn't think any of the weird shit that people have been talking about. I didn't see any of the weird shit that people have been talking about. Sober? Drunk? On something? What exactly do you think I spend my whole night doing? I'd say if you're noticing whether people are dying or I'd say if you're noticing whether the people dying are customers or not. You're also noticing whether they're buying something off menu. Yeah, it was the dealer. And I said if he knew, he would either be allowing the person in their establishment or not. And it seems like they allowed them, but seemingly somebody brought something new in this area. Wouldn't know about the details, but at least the succubus did like to party with a bit of something extra in her blood. But not a single one was the type to get that aggressive. Fuck, my phone keeps going off, it scares me. What happened to the corpses? That's what I'm wondering about. What happens to any corpse around here? If the police don't get it on time, there's always somebody happy to take a body along, probably for some organ exchange stuff. Woof. What a rough town. I seriously don't know anything else, I swear. Your word is useless. Look, I don't want police around here. You leave me alone, I leave you alone. That's how it's always been, right? We'll leave you alone once you've told us everything. I have! So I won't have to come back here after finding out something else? Al hesitates, eyes widening. I did say everything I know about the dead guys, which is basically nothing. If you want something, there's an odd guy in a hood who's been seen nearby. It was the drug dealer. A stranger? A stranger? A stranger, indeed. Fucking strange, that guy. Who says that? It's like fucking strange. I'm fucking idiot. How would you describe him? Tall, like... He motions with his hand, showing a size way above his own head. Tall. Wears some odd dress, oriental or whatever. Put over his head. Like a warlock? What? I'm thinking, what? Everyone who's seen him says the same thing. He's scary, intimidating. Made them freeze up and want to hide even when he was just passing by. Cult leader? Sounds like it. Oh, excuse me, I had to burp. Did he talk to anyone? Not a single word. Sounds like a excuse me, thank you for the verse. Thank you God for the verse, excuse me. Sounds like a supernatural. What kind? No one knows. There's no scent on him. None. He appears out of nowhere without a sound and vanishes just as quickly. Are you sure that the ones running into him don't just have bad nose? If it was just one person, sure, but I've already heard a dozen different people who have seen him. All kinds of supernaturals, too. Raoul turns to Dante. Don't vampires have no smell? They do have one. It's just very subtle. Not to mention that the smells of your environment stick to you. It's weird to say that someone smells like nothing. Suspicious, right? There's stuff that changes your scent, but no one would go for nothing. Smelling like nothing stands out worse than smelling like nothing stands out worse than anything else would. Not that you'd know, human. I don't need a dog's nose to understand that. You... a dog? Oh, it's like, you... a dog. He's insulting him as a werewolf. Al gapes, then looks over to Dante as if fully expecting a fellow werewolf to take offense to being compared to a dog. Little does he know that a hellhound doesn't appreciate being compared to a werewolf either. Okay. He's gonna be so sad. I don't want to give Dante away, so we're probably gonna have to be like, watch it, Buster. Okay, got a problem? You look like one to me, too. Got a problem? Shit, these are hard. Oh, I don't know. I think I'm gonna give him away either way. I could say you got a problem with that, but then it would mean I'm comfortable with being called a fucking doge as a werewolf. But if I say you look like one to me too, that would be like, even as a werewolf, you look like shit. I think it's like, you look like one to me too. Honestly? Oh, it's like, honestly, you do look like a dog. One little growl and you tuck your tail and lower your head in an obedient mutt. See, I knew it. I was like, yeah, I'm right. Al wants to get angry. He really wants to get angry. But Dante smirks, showing his teeth, and it's written all over his face that he knows what Dante wants. A fight. And he's been itching for one this entire evening, sir. So if I were you, I'd shut the fuck up. And go back to my club. And keep quiet. Because you're gonna die if this dude literally gets it. If he literally gets off his leash. And he lets him go off his leash. Yeah, you're in trouble, man. Not one L. Not one L is going to win. ... Gritting his teeth, Al turns his head away. Is that enough for you to leave? Anything else I can tell you is just random stuff. People having affairs, magic experiments failing, cartels doing cartel stuff. The museum burned down or something. I don't know. SSF was sniffing around for that last one. That tall, grumpy vampire with white hair has been snooping. Abarax? Abaraxis? I think. Abarax? No, I think it's Abarax. Silent S, maybe. That might be interesting to hear more about. Dante tilts his head, tempted to ask more about it, but Raoul shakes his head. Something for later, then. I have one last question, then we're done. Get it out. Have you seen Zeno around lately? Huh? That is Al getting defensive again. See, he did see him. Oh, I called it, baby. What are you asking? What are you asking about him for? Suddenly, it involves his business, and so now he's clamming up, huh? Yep, there it is. He allowed him in. I knew it. We need to talk to him too. Don't know him. No idea. Oh, he knows where he is. He probably is in his basement right now as we speak. You don't look like you don't know him. Dante interrupts Raoul with a shake of his head. He's not gonna say anything if you ask him like that. We're not out to get him or mess with your sales. We just want to talk to him. Then we'll leave him be. Sounds like bullshit to me. You're cops. Even cops have given up on catching him. We just want to ask him about any new drugs on the market. You say that, but... Fine. I do know where he is. Hard not to, around here. But I wouldn't know where he is. I know who he is, not where he is. Sorry, I read that wrong. He's here and there, wherever he pleases. A small fry like me couldn't keep an eye on him. Can't help you. It's very much in line with how Zeno behaves. Both Dante and Raoul know that. Alright, thank you for your help. Are you leaving now? Yes. Finally, let me escort you out. This is the most motivated Al has been this entire conversation. Is that finally I'm free? Dante and Raoul do get escorted out, but the way the door slams shut behind them makes it clear they're not welcomed back. Funny. It's like, get the fuck out.